Oh, I know we got what going in. Well,
Welcome to Co-op Guild.
stupid thing on my phone. Now it's there. There we go. We're here on my phone.
Always a cold start with the parent.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Steve, I failed you. I was like all set to finish my sentence in 4 seconds. But the 4 seconds was on my phone.
Yep. The latency.
I have a leg.
The latency.
I have 3 legs, 2 on my body and 1 on my phone.
You have a leg on your phone or a lag?
Both.
Both. Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Welcome.
There.
This is our co-op chat, our live chat about various board game topics. So I see a lot of people here. We got Snow. How's it going? Hey, Jess. Nice to see you here. Ryan, Elaine, and Matthew. Welcome, everybody.
Everybody's here. Awesome to see everybody. Woot, woot, woot.
Ooh, and I'm back on reliable internet, so I won't get cut
on
off.
reliable
Well,
internet.
you can see the truth, Derek. We were talking about dice, and the dice gods kicked you off, right?
That's right. You had to roll higher than a 1, and he failed.
Oh yeah, that's an always fail. That's an always fail. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we miss having you there. So it was. I'm glad you were there for part of it, but tech issues
Yes.
happen. So
Yeah, it was a much needed. It was a trip that I had to do. So
Definitely.
I'm glad I did it.
Definitely.
Good. I'm glad it was good.
So, okay, yes, this is our chat. This chat was recommended by one of the viewers, Marcel. So, I want to talk about content creation, like the backhand. You guys can see a little peek behind the scenes about how we approach things and our thoughts about it. So, the concept is researcher versus reviewer. And so when making lots of content, you can approach it a couple different ways, right? There's ultimately the crux of the issue is there's just so much content coming out all the time. And so if you're trying to cover that, you can't, honestly. There's just no way anybody can do it. And so for a content creator, how do you choose to spend your time, right? Do you research content as much as possible? Meaning, like I look at the Kickstarter page, I kind of talk about that, or run a reviewer side, which is like, do you get down to nitty-gritty details with like being able to actually play it, and how do you balance the two? How do you do a little bit of both? If you go all in one, can you do the other? So we're gonna dive into that topic in a lot more detail.
You don't need sleep or food or family.
That's
You can
why I'm
cover all the
doing
games
this
you
at
want.
8 in the morning. I woke myself up to be part of this every Saturday. If I had my way, I'd sleep till 10.
Yeah, I kid. Yeah, so we talk about kind of, if I understand that, how do we spend our time? Like, is there an or in those options, like do this or do this or do this? I don't think it's that. I think it's more an and. We can't cover all the games, and we don't want to. We want to cover the games we want to play and have fun doing that stuff. So I don't know if this is answering my side of the question, but it's just more, I look for games that are of my interest. I gauge that with how much time I have between spending time with my significant other, spending time with my son, and work.
Yeah.
And so whatever comes out of that doesn't include sleep and food, then that gets put to a board game. Now, I won't, if there's one of the things that I'd say that a lot of people do, I call it the hustle or the grind, and I always tell people I respect people who do it, but it's not for me. It's not why I'm in the board gaming. So if they say, well, you need to cover 10 billion games or you're going to lose views, because the truth is, people, if you go to the channels, not all of them, so I won't blanket statement it, but if you go to a lot of the channels that have high subs, they're usually channels that cover the hot and the new, because that's what people want to see, and that's why it has a high sub. They're going to cover this game. And so I want to know if I should get it. And they're pretty consistent with covering these new games that um that people sub more to their channel, and therefore they have the higher viewerships.
Correct. Yep.
The questions I kind of ask, and I'll stop talking after this, but the question I kind of ask around that is, what does that churn feel like? I don't know, because I don't do that. So what does that churn feel like? Do you get to enjoy the game? Do you get to get a good feel for the game? Or are you just feeling a mechanic and then moving on to the next thing? And how is that stress-wise? Like, I don't know. Yeah, what do y'all think?
It would have been actually nice to get somebody like Mike from the One Stop Co-op Shop on, because he has a tendency to kind of he's excited to try that new. He's excited to see the new, like he's where I think all three of us are going to kind of fall in the same in a generally about the same category, I'm guessing. Very similar to Kanji or Derek, whatever he is. I get to
I go by Derek sometimes. I'm just gonna put a symbol. You can just call me that.
we have a tendency to, I think, gravitate towards things that we enjoy, because this is something as a hobby we enjoy, and it's not something we want to kind of stress ourselves out to do because we feel we need to do it. I think I don't know. I shouldn't speak for both of you, but I think this is kind of where the bucket falls for a lot of us. Now, I do believe Steve probably has a different perspective. I think I'm more on the same vein as Derek. He's over here. I have a tendency to kind of stick to certain genres and things. Yep. And 7 feet tall.
Have I gotten the 7 feet, you know?
Yep. He crossed 7 feet yesterday. Oh, that's awesome. For those that don't know it, when I met Derek, he was a lot taller than I thought he would be. And so I told Robin, I go, man, he was like super tall. He was like 6'3" or something. And like later on, I think we talked a little bit down the here, and I was like, "This is like 6'7". I just keep making him taller. Anyway, I feel we all kind of, at least I think, Derek, I'm very similar to you. I spend my time when it comes to a game, I concentrate on the game that I want to play. I don't, and a lot of the times if people ask me questions about a game, I'll either say like, I don't know anything about that, or you should check Board Game Geek. They probably have some information on that, because it's hard for me to keep track of every game that's coming out. But it is awesome to talk games. So if people are talking to me about a game that I've never played before, it's really cool to hear about it and learn about it. Which is, and then who knows, maybe I might even give it a try. Colin is very good at that. I think we work really well together in that regard, because he's a little bit better at knowing a lot of the different types of games that come out. And he's able to reach out and try different things. And not that I don't try different things, but I have a tendency to try more with him around than if I were to do stuff just on my own, if that makes sense. Because like you said, a lot of my time is wake up, go to work, come home, hang out with my family. And now my family is getting older. My sons are getting older. We have a tendency to stay up later doing things. So I have less time to concentrate on games for the channel and more time concentrating on games that we're playing with the kids. Now, a lot of times, sometimes they overlap, which helps a ton. But more often than not, they don't, because they haven't really reached that stage yet. Like, they're not going to play Isofarian Guard with me yet. In the future, maybe they will, or maybe they won't. So I don't know. Am I making sense? I sometimes just go off and just talk. And
I think you're making sense and aligning. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, this is something that I personally have observed, and the channel, the content I've been producing, has been adapting to kind of fit the mold of both those roles, honestly. So
yeah, I can
the
really see that.
reviewer
Is going to be huge on this, because you do so many things from so many different angles when it comes to board games. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to like. My goal is to start doing the channel, as I always said, was because I want to give back to community, and as long as I'm providing some type of value to people, that makes me happy, right? That's my ultimate goal. Whatever perceived value they have for it, that's my goal. And so, obviously, with starting with One Stop. One Stop is very much on the reviewer side of things. Like, not really any researcher side content on that at all, to be frank. And so that is something that I wanted to dive into, and that's kind of that's what kind of created the co-op corner. And actually, to be honest, co-op chat started that way as well. Where I would cover a bunch of different game news and talk about a breadth of games that I don't normally get a chance to talk about because those focus reviews, um, viewer type content, when it's focused on one game, is a lot of work. And honestly, I just don't have the time, or more importantly, I don't have access to the game. It's the big one. That's huge. And getting back to what Derek mentioned is probably the biggest thing. When looking at content, it honestly I don't think it really matters what you put out as much as what you are covering. What you're covering has a huge impact to video success when it comes to content creation. Meaning, if I do a video on a major game, I'll just throw Oathsworn out there, like very, very popular, very hot game. Everyone wants to know about this one. And I do another video of something lesser well known, doesn't really matter what it is, and maybe that video was a better quality, better, you know, better video overall, won't matter. The Oathsworn video is one's going to get a lot of views because it's hot. And so this whole approach to things is what drives so many content creators to seek those hot games out. And also being the first will get you a lot more views on that. So if you're into the analytics and you want to follow that, you want to get that growth, that is one way to do it for sure. And so I bring this up because that is what drives the researcher approach quite a bit. Meaning that like I can cover the hot games and get a lot of views that way, without necessarily having played it per se. I don't think there's nothing necessarily wrong with that as long as you communicate clearly your experience with the game, right? Meaning
So,
that like if
well,
I'm talking about the
say
game,
that
it
a
would be
different.
really important to know, hey, have I played it? Have I not? Have I read
Yeah.
the rule book? Have I watched videos of it, right? Whatever it
Okay.
is, that's fine. Just make sure you're clear of it because I think if you don't say that stuff, the assumption is you have experience playing it.
Yeah. And one thing I found is it's not everybody, but there are people in the community that don't do the research and listen to the content creator and says, okay, well, and it comes from the angle of, well, the games they like, I seem to like on the Venn diagram of what it intersects very deeply. So therefore, they go and they just say, okay, well, I won't back this game because this person said they didn't like it. And it's not everybody. There's few people who do that. There are people who there's the other side of the spectrum too, of people who go and don't care what a content creator says and does a ton of research on stuff to understand the deep mechanics and read the rule books and then make a decision there. And then there's the in between, right? Wherever you fall on that gray. But I feel that there is a responsibility from content creators to represent the game, when if it's a new game that people don't know about, to represent the game as best as they can.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
There is a responsibility there. So
I also want to call out Barrington a couple ways. Both good, don't worry. Saying the
I'm
words
gonna
"I
call
don't know"
Barron out.
is a good thing. Like that is totally acceptable. If people are asking questions, you just don't know. Just say, "I don't know." No big deal. You don't have to have all the answers. And this other one, Pumpkinhead's talking about unboxing videos without needing research.
Oh, that's huge. I have a huge problem with that. That's why if you see my unboxings, they're not just like, oh, hey, look, here's some tokens. I can't
Exactly.
deal with that. I can't deal with that. And I want to make sure when I do unboxings that it's not that.
Barron's
I need to.
your
I need to know
unboxing videos are the ones I actually watch. To be honest, I don't watch unboxing videos at all except for yours because of what you do.
I can't deal with that. A lot of the times before a game comes, I've already at least tried to find a PDF of the rulebook online, so I know a little bit about it. So as I'm unboxing it, I can at least explain the mechanics and the concepts of this game because it's hard for me. I feel so bad when I watch an unboxing video and the person goes, all right, so we got some, I guess, cards here. These are probably what the players are going to use. Yep, okay. And then, and here's some punch things, some punch boards. I think that I'm going to guess these are health tokens, but I don't know what any of these others are. We'll throw it. It's like, why am I watching this? What is this guy? What good is? Okay, so I see the content of the box. I mean, and I understand there's people that just want to know, hey, did I get everything in my box? Did this person get the same stuff I did, or stuff like that? but I like to make sure that when I'm talking to you, I'm telling you, okay, so this is the player board. Now, if you look at the player board, what you're seeing here is you got the guy's name, and then every turn you're going to generate some of these resources that you can spend to do these kind of things. And I know when I do my playthrough, I'll be explaining that again, but at least I'm giving a vague overview of what the
Yeah.
game is.
Yeah,
And I
exactly,
just,
exactly.
at least it gives somebody an idea of, oh, hey, that's all the stuff that's in the box. And the cool thing is, it's like it's a dungeon crawler that like apparently is I can it's set in this time. It does these things. The cards are going to be flipping over. I'll be able to gain these cards going forward. This is gonna be kind of cool. I might go pick this up.
Yeah, you do a great job of that. You really do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's the crux of, I think, what spurred this topic in the first place is making sure there's enough value for the viewers, right? Whatever it is, and it's really difficult to try to cover a lot of the stuff from a content creator standpoint, right? Like I said, um, I know from me personally, like I do like to look up a lot of games, research them, and so I share that out with the co-op corner. And every co-op corner, I try and make as best effort as I can to play at least one of the games I'm talking about for that reason. So you have um, more of that reviewer base as much as possible. Now, sometimes on a week, maybe they don't have any TTS mods or the rules aren't out or something, and I don't have a lot to talk about from that standpoint. But I'll tell you for that standpoint. But the main thing is got to be really clear on all these topics.
Yeah.
That actually happened to me for Resident Evil. If you watch my Resident Evil unboxing, it doesn't happen very often. But when I went to unbox this, if you look closely, I've actually taken the shrink wrap app off the box before I even did the unboxing because there was no rule book out there. I could not find it. So I did actually open the box, pull the rule book, sealed the box back up, and read through the rules. So I knew what I was talking about. So I wasn't wasting people's time just doing it. And I don't know why they don't put rule books out there on PDF. Come on. It's almost the 31st century. Let's put rule books out there. Come on.
John's got an interesting comment here. Unboxings are okay. Reboxings with some sort of organization storage is where it's at. That's a good.
I actually have been thinking about starting that as a series. Like, it was funny when I saw that because inside I'm like, oh my gosh. So it would be of interest to people because
Definitely.
my big thing is I look for storage solutions all the time. I'm always on different sites looking for different storage solutions because getting all of Marvel United and not having a storage solution for it means I have a lot of things on my floor, and when I have a lot of things on my floor, so I do a lot of research on storage solutions and what's the best way to do stuff and how things are being done. But for me, that was like my thing, right? But I didn't. All this time, I'm thinking no one would want to watch me do this. So
surprise.
so surprised that he was like,
I've had a few people ask me about that as well when it comes to my unboxing videos. Like, oh, like, does this fit back in there? How did you get this to go back in there? How did this do? Like most of the time, like, well, my hardest problem is when it comes to reboxing videos. For me, it would be at the same time as I'm doing an unboxing video, and it wouldn't be able to mimic what you should do because I would probably sleeve all my cards, and I need to know if they fit. I can't tell. I don't know if they fit. And sometimes I'll even, like, when I do my first playthrough or something, sometimes I will say that, hey, just a heads up, these won't fit back in the box. So good luck, kind of thing. Yeah. Like when I did my Aeon Trespass audio on Aeon Trespass Odyssey video, it's like those aren't going to fit back in the box. Good luck.
No, it's good to know. It's good to know that the interest is out there for people who want to know how to organize. Because like you have there's a lot of organization going on over here, so that's good.
No, it's Ryan from Meeple Marathon. He also is a person that does a lot of like how I store my quote unquote game, whatever it is. How did I store Gloomhaven? How do I store Marvel United? How do I store, like, that was one of the things he said. What's this?
Yes, Stacy said something very nice.
Did she?
I was like, Stacy's awesome and she's always nice. I made it sound like she always says.
I like about you guys is that you don't sell out. No, not yet.
Not yet. Give it time.
We have a price.
You know, when I first started playing in my band, like years ago, back when I was broke as a goat and just getting out of college and stuff, and we started a band, and we're like, okay, so do we want to like, how do we want to do this? Do you want to like make our own songs and go on tour and stuff like this? We want to get jobs. We're like, I think we should probably have jobs and kind of stick around here. Okay, now I don't know what you guys thinking about selling out. And my drummer and I turn to each other. We're selling out as soon as we can. I have no reason not to sell out. If they want me to play E on my bass for 32 years, that's fine. If they're gonna give me $1 for me to just play an E string, I'm totally with it.
I don't think that there's there's something that I saw Kim post something, but I want to get back to Stacy's thing. I don't think that there's a sellout point for us to where we will change who we are, right? If someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I know you hate stealth games, right? And here are the reasons why I don't like them, but I know you don't enjoy them." And they're like, "Hey, if you will cover our stealth game, I will pay you $2 million."
Oh, I can't afford that, Derek.
We're saying there's a chance that Derek will play a stealth game.
That's the thing where people feel like this, you know, if there's a mechanic that you don't like and you feel that you wrap integrity around this thing of, I don't like that mechanic, I will never play a game with that mechanic. I was like, I think you will for the right amount of money.
So in other news, I'm starting to GoFundMe to get Derek to play stealth game.
That's right. The link will be in the description of this video.
You give me $2 million, I'll play every stealth game you got. So
oh, that's pretty good.
So to Kim's question that she said maybe she's still confused. How are you framing terminology? Reviewer equal playthrougher. Isn't that a type of research though? Depends. It's subjective because a reviewer hasn't played the game. They are just kind of sorry. A previewer hasn't played the game, or they are just getting a prototype that is not complete to what the game is. A reviewer has played the game and they're just talking about their feelings about the game. And a playthrough is just kind of, you're sitting down for a 3+ hour session of playthrough of the game. So this is the difference between the three.
I don't consider my playthroughs reviews.
Yeah, right.
Mainly I don't because, like Derek said earlier, the reviewers probably played the game and done a lot of things. Like I just did Orc Quest Warpath. It's going to be coming out probably sometime, hopefully the next few days. I've never played it until that playthrough, because a lot of the times, I'm sure that it might shock you, I do a lot of these campaign games and I don't want to have what's being played spoiled, right? Yeah. So I don't want to play the first mission 3 times. Like, oh, I got to play this mission 3 times. No, I want to play it to like really feel the game. You know what I mean? And I want everybody to feel that game. That's so when it, like, even when it came to my, was it Feast for Odin playthrough, which technically isn't a campaign game. There's nothing campaigning about it. It's like the Euroist Euro on the Euro. And so, but I'd never played it before. And that video was my first playthrough of Feast for Odin. I've done some, I did my research. I read the rule book. I watched Colin play the game. And then I realized when I played it that he is way better than I am at this game. And that's fine. But when it comes to the playthroughs, I would say that that's a different little animal there versus being a review of some type.
Yeah.
Do we know the game? Yes. I mean, I've read the rulebook. I read the rulebook twice on Orc Quest Path. I asked a couple of questions on Board Game Geek, so I'd make sure to get a lot of the stuff right. Am I going to get it all right? No, there's no way in any earth I'm ever going to get every rule right in a big game like that. The rulebook's 54 pages long. So, I mean, if it was 4, like if I had to do a playthrough of Uno, I'd probably be okay.
Don't say that. Don't say that, because even with Uno's rule book, there's still a lot of contention on rules.
True. There is some. Okay, Candyland. You can't screw that up. I don't think so. I even read the, like, what is it, the strategy guide. So
I love the strategy guide for that.
So I have a question for y'all too, along the lines of what you just said, Baron. When and where is it, when we talk about this scale of getting things correct, right? When and where in those 3 segments, preview, playthrough, and review, when is it critical that rules be, I don't want to say perfect because there's no such thing,
not perfect, but let's make sure you don't send people astray.
Yeah. So when in one of those, in which one of those, like in those 3, where do you feel that the rules perfection, lack of a better word, needs to be the strongest?
Well, the playthrough needs to have a lot of rules, right? If you're going to review the game, I think you need to know the rules pretty well. If you're like kind of talking about the general concept of the game and what its theme is and what exactly you're kind of doing, a vague understanding would probably be okay.
Okay.
But I really don't think anybody out there discussing games and trying to get people to understand what it is without knowing it would really be weird. You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make sense? What do
No.
you think, Steve?
Yeah. My thing is, I will, even though I struggle with reading rule books, right? But I soldier through. But I struggle with reading rule books. But my thing is, even in my playthroughs, I am not perfect. I'm not saying you're saying I have to be, but I'm saying like I'm
Right.
not perfect. I get rules wrong, and people who've played the game 30 billion times to my 5 will put comments in saying here, and that's where I'm very thankful for that stuff. So it's more, and this is also to the chat as well. When you're watching a playthrough and someone makes a rule mistake, are y'all like done, not watching this person anymore, or is there more forgiving when it comes to that stuff? Like, how do y'all feel about rule stuff? Because I get rules wrong. I'm not gonna mince about it, but I try to improve and perfect as I continue to play the game, and be very grateful for the comments that come in. But I'm just kind of curious from the chat's perspective, like where does that fall for you all? Are you looking for perfection? Are you looking for what are y'all looking for when it comes to that stuff?
I'll jump in because I had pretty strong thoughts about this early on in getting the board game hobby. Where if I would watch a video and if I caught, a couple of rules mistakes, that's fine. But if I caught like 4 rules mistakes, then I'd stop watching. And
Okay.
I was very critical of that because these were VODs, so video on demand, the recorded videos, and
Okay.
as a viewer, I was thinking, well, this is recorded. There's no reason you couldn't have edit the proper way to play it, right? In my mind, that's what's going on. Now, do I hold the same view? No, not at all. Mostly because there's just so many different rules to keep track of in different games, and it's very easy to miss them. It's really really hard, and honestly probably impossible to play 100% correct for games. We always try to, for sure, but it's not. It's very challenging.
Well, I think that's a very good distinction, and I didn't make that distinction, so I think that was a really good call out, Steve. Is the perfection and once again we're using that word, right? I don't like it, but I can't find the proper language for what I'm trying to say. But it's more the closeness to perfection scale really tips up when it's VOD, video on demand, right? When it's recorded content, as to when it's live playthrough, right? When it's video on demand content, for me personally, I can only speak from my experience, is that my expectations of rule clarity does go up, because like you said, Steve, you should record your video. If you messed up in the rules, record over that to fix that, whatever that error is. You have the time to pause, go look up a rule, go look up to the side, and then come back and clip in what you need. So I don't know, Baron, I know you do some, you and Colin do a lot of VODs and things as well. How do you feel about that?
I try to get everything right. I'm perfect. That's the problem. Actually, to tell you the truth, I will tell you a story. If I don't have much Arkham Horror living card game on my channel, Colin and I did a playthrough of it just recently live. I did have the first mission of Arkham Horror, the living card game. Was it Return to the very core box or whatever, right? I can't remember which one that was. I deleted the video. I had it up for a year and a half, and I realized I'd done so much wrong that eventually, I shouldn't say a year and a half, I think I had 6 months. And eventually somebody else had come on. The only reason I kept it up is because there was nobody else who had done that scenario yet. And then I think somebody did one. So I kind of said like, okay, I'm done. I'm deleting this video because I was not satisfied with it. I did so many things wrong with it. I was unhappy. And so yes, there comes a time eventually where I'm looking at it and I'm doing it. Now, I love how you have said, well, because you can always just stop the video and just add in the part that you might have gotten wrong. Like, no, that's
Okay.
almost
No,
impossible.
but school me on that. Like, if that is incorrect, let me know.
It's tough because
Mhm.
what you're recording is what you've learned from the rule book. Sure, I can stop and go to the rule book and look,
Mm-hmm.
but then when I come back and I'm doing it, I may have interpreted it in a different way than what it's supposed to be. And I can't change that because that's just already recorded in. I've already thought that's what the rule was.
That's right.
Or if you're doing something and it's only gonna happen, it happened once, and you're kind of doing it, and you're like, okay, and then this guy's gonna back up a couple and shoot from here, and I'm thinking, is he gonna do that? The rule book just kind of says like moves away and fires. Okay, I guess he's gonna run. I would just think he's gonna move over here and attack me. Is that really where he goes? I mean, I'm just kind of again going off what the only piece of paper I have in my hand.
Yeah. So you're saying in that moment, then that going back and doing it is unfeasible and
It
unrealistic.
really is, because it's like you've gotten past that. I mean, in my OrcQuest playthrough, there's actually a point where I say, what's going to happen here is I'm going to roll this and I'm going to add this die. And firing into this cornfield, everybody should have got an extra defense die when firing from range. I forgot to do it with these two guys. So I'm going to have the bad guys also take advantage of the same thing and not use that rule for right now, just for these two rolls.
Mm-hmm.
From then on, I'll continue on, because otherwise I have to backtrack with all this. I mean, it's not just like, oh, I just cut this in and I just redo it.
Yeah.
That's like an hour and a half of filming that I
Mhm.
would have to cut, reset everything back, which I wouldn't know where to go. How much damage did I have before that rule was wrong? How much damage had these guys taken? What loot did I already get from there? Where were my guys on the board? I would have no idea. I mean, sure, I could go back and look, but again, that's a lot of time and effort. And I'm not literally doing it to get paid. We know, none of us are.
Yeah.
We're doing it just for fun. And at that point, my fun zone would
It's
be
a
down.
sunk cost at that point. You have to go back and do
Yeah,
that. So that makes sense. So
And
instead,
not only that, I've already experienced what that part is. So you wouldn't get that, like, okay, we're gonna move into, oh my gosh, this thing happened. Like, I'd be like, okay, well, we did this for the third time.
It's more along the lines of, so that makes sense, and that's great clarity. It's more along the lines of, like, at that point, it would just be a subtitle that you put in that said, hey, I missed this piece at the end. But I'm talking, when I talk about the re-record, I'm talking about more in the moment, not years later or after it's done or anything like that. Or when you're 5 turns down the road. It's more it's more situational, where it's,
so that would be the concept of how I viewed the rule.
Yeah.
That would be really what it is.
Okay.
Because I mean, not every rule book is perfect. We all are looking for that perfect rule book. There's some really good ones out there, quite a bit, but there are some that aren't that great. And there's a lot of, and we've and I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed when certain companies come out with games, I'm expecting, like, okay, I know this company, this rule book could be a little rough, or else I'm going, this company's coming out of the game, this is gonna be awesome because I know they got a really good rule book. It's gonna answer all my questions. And even then, before I did my recording of OrcPath, the only reason I'm using OrcQuest is because I just did it. I did go to Board Game Geek, and that's a great resource for when you're recording videos, because I was looking for a rule, read the rule book twice, continuing to go through it, and I'm just looking at the board, and I had 2 different stacks of tokens. I'm like, okay, so this is reserve B, and I have reserve A. Okay, reserve B. How about reserve B? What's a rule book? And so I got to I didn't know how to spawn tile B, and so it's like, what do I do with these B things? And so that's why I had to go to Board Game Geek and say, I don't understand this. Am I supposed to spawn all these or not? And I don't know who hit me, but I've got 3 different people that helped me to say, like, yeah, you spawn them all.
That only helps for actual produced copies. Like, if you didn't preview, you got nothing. No one's answering those questions. It makes it even harder.
The only thing you got is that email from a designer that you can hopefully reach out to and get back from.
Exactly.
And I will tell you, there's sometimes that they just don't get back to you, and I'm like, oh, right now. And there's other people that as soon as you email them, he'll be like, dude, here's my messenger, hit me up, I'll talk you through it. I'm like, okay, and I hit, like, okay, I'm here on Messenger, and he, like, calls me, and he's like, okay, what's your question? I'm like, oh, well, here's what I'm doing. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, oh, I'm really excited that you're doing that. Okay, so what you want you to know is that this is my intention of how this is going to work. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This guy is amazing. He's like you're telling me everything I need to know. And again, that's the love of you seeing from designers of their game versus I think like bigger companies going like, oh well, if you need any help, just let me know. And I'm like, I did. You didn't.
What's interesting about this segment, Baron? This is where I give you a lot of credit and tip my hat to you, is that a lot of people don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know what goes into the production of stuff. Like, for instance, for me, I admit I was wrong in this regard. I don't know what goes into doing VOD because I don't do VOD. I do live playthroughs only. So that's where Baron, and he was comfortable and had the safe space to just say, I think you're wrong about that. Here's the reasons why. And then we talked about it. And it's fine. I actually appreciate that, because what that does is that educates me, so that should this topic come up again, I'll be like, nope, Baron does VOD. He understands how this stuff works. So I need to listen to what he's saying. Right. So I appreciate that.
So yeah, and tying the whole thing in, like my initial thought was that way, but after doing content creation, you're exactly right, Baron. Even VODs, it's really hard. I have recorded a VOD preview up to 3 times because I've recorded it, sent it to the designer. They caught some errors, and the errors were, even if it's like 1 or 2 errors, but if it's a big enough thing, I'll delete it and redo it.
Yeah.
Or if it's a lot of them, I'll delete and redo it. So I had to do that 3 separate times till you guys saw the video. So, and that's a ton of work.
Ton
of work.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I'll be honest, I don't want to do that. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I do live playthroughs. One, my main reason is because I want to interact with people, and it feels like y'all are at the table with me. But the other is, I don't want to record 30 times. I just want to play a game.
Yeah. And when it comes to the way I do it, I'm not recording it 30 times. I know Steve is a lot more.
I was being facetious.
I know you are. But I know Steve is a lot more. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but he's a lot, I shouldn't say perfectionist, but he really likes to make sure that game is shown to the best of its possible ability. And so, like you said, if I got a few things wrong, I'd almost want to redo the video so that people get it, so I get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Where I will be like, okay, I'm going through, like when I did that thing wrong in the cornfield, I was like, I'm going with it. I'll just put a little subtitle in there. We're going to keep on going. You know what? People are going to get it. All they need to do for me is enjoy the game that I'm putting in front of them and learn from it.
Yeah.
Not only learn from the game, but learn from the mistakes I've made. And that's really where it is. And that's why if you ever look at almost all of my videos, there's a pinned comment right below all of them.
Yeah.
Let's say no one errors. And then in that, it shows what the errors are. And I even thank the people that did it. Now, sadly, I can't say I thought of that. I stole that from Adam Smith, Rolling Solo. I noticed he does that. And Colin does the whole Klingon subtitles. I used to do that. But it took a lot more time than just to type in a known comment thing. And again, where do you put your time when it comes to doing content?
I think the pin comment's easier, honestly, for like a viewers anyway. At least for me personally. But I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Because I talk too much, Steve.
I think.
Oh yes, I know what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with what is the purpose of the content. This will tie a little bit back into the topic we started with. Research first review, right? Like how in depth do you go in covering these games? And from a playthrough perspective, I think we all probably align on this one, where playthroughs are meant to convey the feelings of the game, the overall approach of it, right? If you wanted to know how to play a game, I think it's way more efficient and better to have an actual instructional video, right? Here's the rules step by step, how to do it, right? Because that could be accurate, and you can walk through like the rule book essentially and punch that out.
Yeah, that one's tough for me, like, because, and this is where this is my weird brain, because I can watch an instructional video and have 30 questions after I watch it. Because
fair.
They take you down the happy path of an instructional video. It's always the happy path. You do this. All right, so if you were to roll a 6, then you would do that. All right, then you would move your character 6 spaces, and then you will do this, and then you will roll this thing. Okay, so what happens if I roll a 1? What happens if what's the mitigation for if I do terribly this round? They always take you along a happy path of of playthroughs. Like, and rightfully so, they don't have time to walk every single possibility and permutation. It's just more. It's just more. I don't. An instructional video is helpful for setup for me, but not for gameplay.
You might like my
Because
videos then, Derek, because I actually do that. When I go to roll the dice, I'll be like, okay, so here's what we're looking for on the die. If I get this, which is why my favorite thing that ever happened to me was when I've got, what was it? Oh my gosh, it was Kane. What's the Solomon Kane? I got that game. I painted up the miniatures. I'm going to go do a playthrough of it. I did a playthrough of it. It was 3 episodes long, about an hour to an hour and a half each to do one mission. And I told Mike, I go, yeah, I got my Kane video ready, Solomon Kane. He goes, oh, okay, I'll put it up on a day. Well, it's 3 videos. Really? I did all of it in 45 minutes. I'm like, what? 45 minutes. Mine is 4.5 hours.
and so that's the bit of it, man. It's like I instructional videos, like I said, I would prefer, and I did this once and I actually enjoy doing it, a live instructional video. I prefer that because I did a live instructional video for Gloom and Kill Forth, right? I was like, here's how to set up the game. Here are the different situations. And I had people ask me questions on what happens in this scenario, what happens in that scenario. And so I can actually answer the questions that weren't along the happy path. And so that I found way more helpful than a VOD of here's 45 minutes on how to play this game. Because I know for a fact that 90% of people, or should I say, I know for a Derek fact that 90% of people are going to come up with different scenarios that video doesn't answer. Of course, it'll be like, well, go read the rule book and figure it out. But my thing is, if I don't learn that way, thank you for omitting me from what you're trying to do. So.
And I usually do my best to try to answer questions. Now, this brings up another point where what if you get a question about a game that you put up 2.5 years ago? And
we talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time.
We discussed this. A lot of the times, if I get a question like that and I have no idea what the answer is because I don't even own the game anymore, a lot of the times I have to tell the person, I'm really sorry. I don't know the answer to that question. It's been a long time since I played that game. And then I say, I would recommend going to BGG and asking in their forums. I'm sure there's a lot of dedicated fans to the game that would be able to answer that question for you. You know what I got a response one time was? What is a BGG?
Board Game Geek.
And so I had to
go into that.
Heads up, board game. It's called Board Game Geek, and it's a website dedicated to board games. And every game is on that site, and there's usually a forum that you can ask questions about their games. This guy came back to me and said, "Thank you so much for this resource. I had no idea it was out there, and the question was answered right away. And I really, really appreciate your time." I was like, "You're welcome. I'm really glad I was able to help."
Yeah.
Board Game Geek is. So we can't just assume everybody knows BGG.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So why are we having this conversation? It sounds like the
we
question popped up.
About an hour of time.
Well, I think it's just that we enjoy talking to each other, but it's just more. Steve talked about why this came up in the first place. That a Discord member posted this question because it sounds like they were a little frustrated with a content creator. I don't know who, we don't care, but a content creator who kind of said was giving talks about this stuff, and they weren't knowledgeable about the topic. So he was curious of, what's the balance? How do you make this stuff work?
I think for us, it's a lot. I think you get a lot more. Sorry, go ahead, Steve. You say.
No, good.
I think for us, we still really enjoy this space. This is still a hobby to us. So being able to tell people about these games, it's because we love them already. It's not that we're having to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that really helps out when it comes to, for me, and I shouldn't say for you guys, but just for me, to be able to show off these games. It really brings me excitement to do that. And I think when you're talking about a particular channel, I have no idea who this creator is, and that's not the point of this. Sometimes I think, again, how much time can you devote to what? And if that particular person doesn't want to devote the time to it, I think it is a little bit hard for you to want to to be able to say these kind of things. I really think that
Yeah.
I think it does a disservice to the community to do that. But again, it also still, what's the famous line? Bad press is press or something.
Oh, there's no such thing as bad press.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
yeah.
something. I mean, so even him her talking about that particular game is still going to get people to know about it.
Yeah.
True. That's true.
Yeah. So let's pause for a sec because
Oh, no.
I see a misunderstanding already in the chat.
What did I do wrong?
Not you.
Nah, yes.
But I vehemently disagree that channels have some duty for viewers or to viewers. Incorrect. They have a little bit, and it's very specific, and it's very important that they do it, right? That is, you don't, a content creator does not own how somebody feels about a game. A content creator does not own if you should buy your game or not, or the research that you do, or what that stuff is. My basis thing is, if you are the responsibility comes in if it's paid content, right? So don't blanket statement saying that they don't own anything to a viewer. If it is paid content, their opinion should be removed, and it should just be about the game. Other than that, a channel can say whatever they want, and if you don't like what they say, you can watch something else. So let's level set that before people are saying like, they're saying that we have we have a duty to people. We don't, except for when it's paid content.
And I know I've said this multiple times, but that is one reason I don't review videos. I let the game stand on its own. That's the deal.
Yeah.
And also we're Minnesotans, and so we don't like to say bad things. So that's one of the reasons. And when you watch my Orc Quest playthrough, at the end, Colin and I it's so interesting how I wonder, just because we're Minnesotans, we live so close to each other and have lived in this community for this particular small little pocket of the world in Minnesota, if it's like this. But he and I, every time when you watch our videos on demand, are almost exactly the same in the way we produce the content, except for one thing. I talk at 1.5 speed, he talks at 1.0 speed. Totally different. Because even at the end, we talk about the same things, where I'm like, okay, this is Orc Quest. This is what I really thought was cool that they did in this game. And that's really, I do say about 2 or 3 things maybe after my first play, to say like, this is a couple of things I really like about this game. And that's it. That's about the only thing you're going to get from me when it comes to review. I don't say anything negative really about it. I just say what I enjoyed about it, which again is why I don't like to do reviews, because I'm only saying what I enjoy. And I know that's not what you should do. You should always talk about all the parts of the game, whether they're good or bad, to really give a review of the game. So that's why I don't.
Well, you don't do reviews, and that's fine. I think it's more that's what the review segment is for. So if if you don't do it,
that's why there's people from the East Coast. They do those. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm 100% kidding. 100%.
For me, I think.
Please don't come at me. Don't attack. Total joke.
For me, I think that I have opinions on the game as I play it, right?
Yeah.
And it comes. I have zero poker face. How I feel about a game comes out very much as I'm playing it and going through it. Steve's seen that as we played games together. Barrett's seen that as we played games, and he's heard me kind of rant on stuff before. But it's just more, I have opinions on it, but they're just that. They're opinions, right? They mean this amount in everybody's life, and as it should. It's like next to nothing, because it's how I feel about the game that I'm playing that may not be for me, right? So there's a game but the thing that I want to do, or if I'm not doing, that these two will hold me accountable and I get better at and improve on, is when I say I don't like something, I need to give reasons why. I just can't say it's not good, right? And usually they challenge me and be like, well, why don't you like it? Well, what about it that you don't like? So that I have to, instead of just being like, oh, this game's trash, just go and say why I don't like it. So and then it's no longer this game is trash. It's, here are the reasons why I don't like this game. It's not for me. a lot more helpful than saying.
I know what you mean, Kenji. I don't like this game because it's stealth. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's a joke.
I think ultimately you just gotta be candid on everything, right? When you're covering stuff, and this is something that like I struggle with the like I mentioned earlier about the co-op corner, the news segment I do, because I would love to have played every single game I talk about to provide the information to you.
Yeah.
I don't have the means to do so. Either I don't get a copy of the prototype, or the rules aren't posted, or information not available, right? And like even this week, I covered a game. I forget the name of offhand. It's a Norse game. There was basically no information on it, and I felt bad just saying, "Hey, here's this game. Move on," right? And I had almost no information to talk about. But at least in that point, hopefully it's visible to you guys that this is all I could find. This is all I can provide to you guys. It's not my intention, but at least you know about it. Let's move on. But to the point of this topic, I think it's very, very important. If you don't know, say you don't know. It's that simple.
Yep.
That's important.
That should be like the word. That should be like the word of the day, like from Sesame Street. I don't know.
Yep.
The word on the street. I think it's what they call it. My son actually had. We bought him a shirt that said "Everything I learned on the street," and it had like all the people, the Sesame Street people on it. A long time ago.
That's cute. That's cute. I like that. Yeah, there's being able to own the fact that you don't know something is okay, and I think that we're stuck in this world of fake it till you make it, right?
Right.
Or the other thing,
because I'm a Gen Xer that I don't fake it till I make it. I just go like, don't know that. Go find somebody who does, or tell me to find out.
And the one thing that comes up for me, and I've ranted about this to Barrett and Steve over the past 2 days, is when people are just saying like, life's too short, and followed by some stupid statement. I'm like, well, life's too short. Just say how you feel. It's like, that's subjective. You probably shouldn't always say how you feel. A lot of people out there want to say how they feel, and I won't be okay with that. So it's just more,
we've talked about this too. I know about amongst ourselves, but like, if on our Discord, for example, if someone's asking about a game, I'm talking about a game, I don't need to share my opinion about the game, right? It's not important to the discussion.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? We can talk. I can talk about a game I dislike, no problem. And it doesn't matter because, like, if they like it, that's fine. Everyone has their own alignments on why they like or dislike games. No big deal. Now, if they ask me, or my opinion, I'll definitely share it. Or maybe it's relevant to the conversation. I'll provide that information. But like, getting to your point, Derek. Yeah, sometimes it's not necessary.
Yeah, so, yeah. Sometimes life isn't too short.
Yeah, exactly. Let people enjoy what they enjoy.
Somebody asks an opinion of a game, though. It's no problem. You can't you don't want to say like, no, I don't want to tell you my opinion. It's not gonna be good. I mean, yeah, tell them that.
No, if they ask you, yes,
provide
that. But
always.
if I'm like Steve and I are like, United is fantastic, it's great, and then someone's like, that game's stupid. It's more okay. Thanks for that. Steve, Marvel United is great.
Be constructive.
I'll call him. Matthew's got a nice comment for here. So I want to thank the three of you for what you do. I've joined an incredible community and met some incredible people. You guys are awesome. Well, thank you, Matthew, for being part of the community, honestly.
Yep, Steve 100%. And Barrent are awesome. They are amazing people. I love them dearly.
Derek's kind of mediocre, but that's okay.
I'm mediocre.
I'm totally kidding.
Like I said, they're slumming. Like one day they were like, hey, here's this content creator. Let's bring him in because he's really struggling. And they slummed a little. And they asked me to come on, and then all of a sudden here I am with the big dogs.
We reached out to Rado, but we got Derek. I'm totally kidding, 100%. 100%. I think that was one of the best things we've ever done in board games is reached out to Derek and said, hey, you should join us on this topic. It's amazing kind of how that happens. I mean, that was how I found One Stop really was. Steve reached out to me and said, hey, I saw you did unboxing of Nemesis. Would you want to come on and do like a top 5 with me? I'm like, sure, I'd love to. That'd be great.
Yeah. So is that how I got on here? was because I remember before we were talking about anything, it was about upcoming games. And there was probably an upcoming game that I liked that Steve was like, "Hey, come talk on it." Then all of a sudden,
I don't
you know,
remember how you came on the chat per se, but I know I
extortion. It was extortion,
Extortion,
Steve.
that's right.
That's right.
It's not public
Wasn't
information, Derek.
wasn't one of the first episodes that Mike and Peter did in their podcast that actually had you guys together was because Colin had played Dragonhold and they hadn't had a chance to play it yet or something, and they wanted him on to talk about Dragonhold?
I don't know.
I remember
know.
hearing one of them that he was. Yeah, I know he did Legend of Dragonhold, Legacy of Dragonhold. That was it. And it's that like reading one, and like they hadn't played enough of it, so they actually I think asked him on with it or something. Anyway,
it was it was the white van, with
White
the
van.
with the
Yeah, that's
with
right.
Oh
the
my
tinted
God.
mirrors, the
Cool
mattress
stuff.
in the back.
oh my God. Well, okay, so on that line, can I tell you my story?
Oh,
my
gosh,
gosh.
please keep this
Please,
clean.
Please, there's a story. Please tell me there's a story where you got into a white van.
Very, very similar. Okay, so there's a story that happened this week. My
Oh, God.
wife told me, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Bennett wants to ride his bike to school. He's in 5th grade, right? Okay, but his school's quite a ways away. It's almost like a couple miles, right? And so we no longer get busing to school. So he's like, but Bennett really wants to ride to school. I go, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I want you to make sure he gets there okay, right? Did I bike you to school? Did you bike to school this week? Mm-hmm. And what did Dad do?
Followed me.
Yep. And how many people stopped to ask if I was a creeper? You.
Wait, were you slow riding behind?
Yes, I was going like 10 miles an hour in the bike lane behind him. And like this one guy kind of passes me and stops and rolls down the window. And all I see is Bennett turn to this guy and go, "He's my dad." And I'm like, "Oh no, beautiful. Oh no!" So, but I can't stop now. I have to follow him all the way to school.
Oh my gosh.
All the way to school. And then,
All I can imagine is Barrett. Oh, I'm trying to pop out my phone here. All I can imagine is Barrett riding slowly behind him, and all of a sudden this guy rolls down his mirror and does this.
that's about it.
Funny.
You're funny. That's what's happening. Well,
Oh.
because after I dropped you off at school, you want to know what happened? One of the cars that passed me while you were going to school stopped at the stop sign on the way home and got out of his car. And this guy looked like Hulk Hogan without the biker mustache, right? And he like comes into my window, knocks on it. He's like, "Why are you following kids to school?" I'm like, "Oh boy." Now I had my camera out, and I was like, "This is my son. He went to the school I was following." And he goes, "Well, okay, I just wanted to make sure because I have 2 girls that go to that school." It's like, "Oh no, I'm not following kids. I'm not a creeper." It was so, and my wife, of course, I call her. Do I get any like sympathy? No, just pure laughter. And then she told all of her friends at school and all of her other friends. Barry got picked up because people thought he was a
Oh
creeper.
gosh.
Can you believe that? I was trying to. Only good thing that came out of this is I am excited that there's people in the community that were bold enough.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
yeah, that's
Despite
true.
what was
That's
going
true.
on. But I couldn't. I felt like such a horrible
Oh
person.
my gosh.
Oh man.
That's
man.
amazing, Barrett.
Yeah. No, I didn't get any cops. Nobody called 911. I don't think so. That was good.
Oh god.
Barrett,
Well-
please tell me you were wearing a hoodie and hunched down.
Thank goodness. No. I had a shirt that said, "Have you seen my kid?" No, I didn't. I totally kidding.
Oh gosh.
Probably had like this shirt on. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
That was what happened to this. That was it's like a TV show now. It's like what happened to Barrett this week. Well, that was what happened to Barrett this week.
I just imagine I can't remember the guy's name. There's a show that used to come on that was called How to Catch a Predator or something.
Oh, I never saw that one.
And what they would do is they would set up situations and then catch people who were trying to be sleazy, gross. But what was the funniest thing to me was the host would always ask the person, "So what did you think would happen here?" And I just imagine like I can't remember his name. I cannot remember his name, but where he'd come up, knock on Barrett's window, and be like, "So what did you think would happen here, Barrett?"
Oh gosh.
Oh, that made my morning. Thank you so much. That made my morning.
Well,
Made a lot of people's morning that day. Let me tell you.
It's
How it goes.
amazing. I don't think we could top that now.
Nope, we're good. We're good. We can close
We're
it.
good.
So that was my story.
Oh man,
So
Baron, you're
remember
awesome.
what the word of the day was? I don't know.
I don't know exactly.
Chris Hansen. Thank you, Ryan. Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen would come up.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I think on that note we'll end the chat for today. About time anyway. So I guess what's coming up for content for you, Derek?
Today, later on today, I'm gonna be playing Marvel Champions against Green Goblin for Halloween. I was supposed to play it yesterday, but stuff came up, so I moved it out to later today. And then tomorrow is Arkham Horror, the Path to Carcosa with Kate and Cynthia. And Monday we're back to Final Girl. What about you, Mr. Barrett?
I did Orc Quest.
Ooh.
Not sure if you figured that out from today.
I had no idea.
No idea. So actually, we've got something really monumental coming. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Colin and I are doing a double Monday stream.
Didn't you do that last Monday?
Yeah, we only did one though. We did Monday in the afternoon.
So two
and
last
this time we're doing Monday in the evening too. So we're doing a game on Monday morning that I don't know the name of that I should because he's told me 100 times.
Sure.
And then the other one we're doing at night, we're doing Arkham Horror. That's the deal.
Yeah, can you say the name of the cycle that you're doing?
Where it's a conspiracy.
What type of conspiracy?
It's myth. You taught me. But don't worry. By the time we start playing it, I'll probably call it 3 things during the campaign.
The saga you did was it was good. I'm curious to see how your next play goes because the next one's really good. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we're excited for that. Also, I do owe Jen a painting tutorial on some of the guys from was it Tanashi? Is that the name of the game? That's the deal.
Tamashi painting stream, yeah.
Tamashi, is that the one that for Awakened Ones I just got? I promised her I'd do a painting stream using some of my Turbo Dork.
Hold on. So is Jen painting with you?
I don't know if she's painting with me.
Jen, are you painting with him? That would be incredible.
I guess I could have that happen. We can work that out if she's interested.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. I'll have to reach out to her and see if she wants to do that. Anyway, because she was really excited to see how those painted up, and I said I'll make sure to do it.
Okay,
so,
cool.
That'd be awesome. And then I still have to do Kingdom Death, but I haven't got these guys painted yet. That's the deal.
Okay.
So I have to do those too. Anyway, I don't know if I'll try to get a painting video. It's been a long time since I've done a painting video. Again, it's about the time and effort we have for our hobbies. And you always remember that your work and family always come before your hobbies. I mean, that was part of the deal when I got married. When you get married, you lose 2 hobbies. Then each kid, you lose a hobby. But then as time goes on, you get them back. I've learned that. I stopped playing MMORPGs, and when I met my wife, because that needed to be done.
Because the 24 hours of your day, some of that need to be spent with her instead of on the MMO.
Yeah, that was what happened. I'd be like, I come home from work, be like, I'm gonna go online. I'll be back at like midnight. But so, and you know what, it was just better. I didn't need to be playing those games anymore. So it wasn't that I lost them. I stopped playing. I mean, it was a thing.
Yeah. So Steve, what do you got coming?
Putting out a jumpstart real soon here. I was working on last night. Hopefully I can get it done tonight and maybe tomorrow. But that's going to be a very brief instructional video on Davy Jones' Locker. Monday we'll be doing the giveaway. So there's still a couple days to enter if you guys haven't. So we crossed 3,000 subs. So we're doing a giveaway for Team NT United, which is a homebrew Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in United structure.
Yep.
By Lukey19. Did it?
Loki?
Lukey.
No.
Loki.
Oh.
So that's still available. I'll probably stop the entries at the end of the night Sunday so I can prep for it. But we'll do a live stream with the giveaway of 2 winners on that one. And we're doing international shipping, so join for that. And Tuesday, I'm planning on doing a live stream for David Jones' Locker. There's a new expansion that's launching that day, so we're doing a playthrough of that. So Curse of the Ghost Ships.
Cool.
And then the rest of the Wednesday, I gotta figure out what I'm doing. I haven't quite figured out what's happening on that one yet. But
yeah. and potential Game of Palooza next weekend.
That's right, Game of Palooza. Yep.
So potential Game of Palooza next weekend for sure. And yeah, there's stuff I have to bring for you and Kim as well for that. So,
Also, sometime soon I'll be joining Derek for his painting episodes.
Sweet. Oh,
you're always invited.
Surprise him someday and jump into his stream.
I would be more than happy.
I have to figure out his secret passwords to get in.
Oh, my passwords are really hard. Really difficult. They're really difficult to figure out.
I also mentioned, since I'm prepping right now, it's not quite ready yet, but in about a month we'll be doing Extra Life again. So I know these guys have already agreed to help contribute for that. So
Yep.
Anybody likes Aliens, the board game, we'll be playing that for sure.
It is playing games to raise money for children's hospitals. So, and that is, I think, November 4th. It's the first weekend in November when it drops. So, but I'll provide more details as we get closer.
Yes, I did talk to Colin. He and I will both be part of. Meet Me at the Table will be part of for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Kenji Studios, you count me. You have my axe
and my bow.
Thank you, Kim.
And my bow. Right? I shouldn't say and my bow.
So yeah, cool. I think that's all we got. Anything else you guys have?
Don't be a creeper.
Don't be a creeper.
I think we need to tell you that. Also, Kim and Steve, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, the expansion for the video game will be out soon, which means another Mayhem stream with y'all on there. So inbound, keep an eye on the channel for that. But we three, and if we can rope Barrington and call them to make 4 or 5, I can count. Will be enough to have an amazing Mayhem stream of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game. I don't know if this
it is tricky to make it work, but you can. Yes.
Because that's all I got. Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, Kim's in.
Also, now that and also we're behind the scenes talking about when we're going to be starting up our Dungeons and Dragons stuff again, which we hopefully can get to pretty soon. So be on the lookout. That is coming back at some point.
Yep, I have content, so we just need to find time.
And I have time.
Cool. We'll get it worked out.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I guess we'll end it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and help us build the guild. Working on a catchphrase. Bye, everyone.
Bye.